My name is Stefan, and I'm the founder at Agata Studio, and I'm a Webflow Premium Partner. I help marketing teams build scalable websites, and today I'll be talking about a real project that had over 25 locales in Webflow, and some simple things broke, and some lessons were learned, so it will be an interesting talk. Hey everyone, my name is Stefan and I'm the founder at Agata Studio. So we do mostly web development and help marketing teams scale up their website. And we're a Webflow Premium Partner. So today I'm going to talk about a real project that had over 25 locales. So has anybody here worked with locales in Webflow? Yeah, hands. Yeah, they can be difficult to work with. At least like 2 years ago, they were really difficult to work with. But today, Webflow has optimized a lot of stuff. But yeah, we're gonna dive into this presentation about that. So my name is Stefan. I'm from Bulgaria, and I build Webflow sites that are for marketing teams. And that want to scale up their websites and own up their websites. Also, I did the first Webflow Bulgaria meetup with another agency owner in Bulgaria. We did that together, and that was amazing. Looking forward to do more events like this one, but in Bulgaria as well, in the capital. And today's talk will be about a real project and how most times a project can have 1 to 2 locales. It definitely has 1 locale, but most projects have 2 or 3 locales, something simpler, something smaller, maybe for 2 markets. Let's say it's a local for the local economy in Germany and then the global economy in English so everybody can understand. But sometimes you draw up a wild card and it ends up a project that's really complex and it has a lot of locales, it has a lot of systems, for example, many collections, many pages. And that's the project that I took on. And it was built in Webflow before that. And it had a terrible system in place in terms of how it was built out. And it was technical but fun. And the most technical part was that I didn't have the opportunity to start from scratch. The client wanted for me to build on top of their current website. So that was technical as well. And the overview is when you're building a website with this much localization, with these many locales, the first thing that you need to have is a system in place. Because when you don't have a system in place, even for a simple website or for a website that's complex but has 2 locales or 1 locale, things break when you don't have a system in place. And that's the idea. And here, what actually breaks on a project like this? Well, nothing crashes, but things get really fragile. For example, when you do a change on one place, it bugs out many other components or many other pages or different locales. You do something in the international locale, in the global edit, you do a global edit, and something in the French locale breaks or in the German locale breaks. And yeah, you learn a lot of lessons throughout the way, and I've gathered up a few lessons about that. And this is more for the people in the trenches that build the websites in Webflow, and for those that manage Webflow websites, that oversee the process. And these are some lessons, helpful tips, what to look out for when you're working with this many locales. So the first thing is that structure matters. In the project, things were built out without components. Everything was div 985. Everybody loves that. And the system that I used is client first. Does anybody use client first here? Okay. Yeah. And transferred it over from the left to the right with components in place, a system in place, variables, redoing some of the CMS. And that's the first important step, that the structure matters because it cannot scale if it doesn't have the right structure. And when you're trying to do, for example, a change in 3 months when the system was not set up correctly, it just takes more time to do it and it becomes expensive. The second lesson is the holy CMS. If that is not set in place, when you have these many locales and you take a look at the drop down for the localization and you see that much locales, first you need to play around, see how it reacts, see that, for example, in Webflow, you can have a CMS item show up in a specific locale, but it doesn't show up in another locale. And you need to watch out for this. The structure needs to be understandable for clients too. So there needs to be a CMS architecture from the beginning. The other lesson is that there are a lot of edge cases that you might not see coming. And for example, for me, an edge case that was actually an issue for the client was they had a component that had properties. And the problem was that these properties have default values. And when you edit, it's something that you can do, is go into a specific locale, and you can edit this default value. And you can forget that you have edited it in this locale, and later on you're trying to do some changes, and you're trying to figure out where is this change coming from, and you don't know where it's coming from. So play around with the localization, play around with components, see how they work, because there are many edge cases that just come up. Another lesson is that translation and localization, and that we need to divide the two, because with the AI feature that they have, you can right-click with the mouse and you can translate everything into another language, or you can do it word by word. But for localization, if you want to go the extra step, what you can do is change the images. For example, change the currency. On the website that I did on the project, on the pricing page, we changed the currency, but on all of the images as well. For example, for France, it was euros. For the UK, for the England localization, it was pounds, British pounds. For Australia, it was Australian dollars. So that is important to set aside and set apart translation and localization. Another part was really the components, and if you treat the components well, they will treat you good as well, and they will scale with you. And that's really important to do from the beginning, to separate everything into what are the sections, what are the different components, the elements, like any global components that are reused throughout the website. And that is really important to set it up easy so clients can use it, and basically to be scalable in a way that doesn't break in 3 months if there is no component or something like this. So that's the idea for the components. The other thing is patience, because at this scale, even simple actions really take time. For example, when you have a website, I think those people that have built have seen that a website that has, for example, 5 pages, when you publish it, it's super fast. But if it has 150 pages and lots of CMS collections, it can be slow. And you can have 150 pages and you can have them multiplied by 25 for the 25 locales. And sometimes it takes 2 to 3 minutes to publish to live. So yeah, be patient when publishing to live. And yeah, it's something to think about. One second. Another lesson is to think beyond, because Webflow gives you a few Infinity stores, but it doesn't give you the full gamblet, meaning that it has a lot of things. For example, they introduce Webflow Optimize and a whole bunch of features that are really great, but sometimes it doesn't do everything that the client needs. So for example, on this project, on top of the localization, they needed to have A/B testing for multiple pages. So because they were doing a redesign, they needed to test the old design and the new design to see how it was performing, how it was converting. And just Optimize, Webflow Optimize didn't do it justice and couldn't help out in this project. So we use Posthook and Cloudflare workers to help out optimize the HTML structure and to optimize the performance. So always think beyond what can happen in a project like this when it's at that scale. Another lesson is who broke that. Accountability is really important at that scale. So for example, for this project, when I came on, I didn't have rights to publish to the production for 2 months because from the beginning it was important to understand that everybody needs to have their ownership in the project, and so nothing breaks, and for example nobody comes in, does a quick change and it breaks many other things. For example, I was doing all of the technical changes where it was needed, going into the components, changing the layouts if they were needed, but marketers could create landing pages with those components, and through the properties tabs, they could change the content and publish landing pages themselves so they can scale up the website. So that was important for everybody to take ownership of what they were doing. Another lesson is that QA is the real work here, because when you have so many locales, doing the changes, it can be tedious and a lot of work, but where it comes to also is when you're doing one change and when you're translating something and doing it for 25 locales, it can get repetitive and you can miss a couple of things. And so it's important to have a QA system in place so you don't miss things and they don't come into production as bugs and as mistakes. And the most important lesson, I think, for everything to work smoothly is to work together with the people that will be owning the websites and that will be using the websites. Because you build around their needs and how they're going to use the websites, what are the goals that they have with the business and how they're achieving it with the website. So that's important to work closely with them and understand how they will be using the websites, because we can understand the technical stuff, but we also need to have the communication with the clients to understand what they need from the websites and how they're going to use it. And yeah, Webflow can probably handle 50 locales, but the important thing is, the most important lesson, that you need to have a system in place, and whether it's client first, is it Lumos, there needs to be a system in place when we are scaling this many pages, because when there is no system, things break later on. After 6 months, somebody touches, somebody deletes a div block, because with components, they cannot do that. They can delete the whole component, but they will notice it. And it's safer for clients to work with components. And yeah, basically that's the motto of the presentation. Stay scalable. My name is Stefan again. And yeah, that was the presentation. I would love to take any questions that you might have for localization, anything that you have come into, any problems. Yeah, so any questions.
Excellent. Thank you, Stefan. Yeah. I must say you made it look a lot easier than my own experience, but things have improved a lot. So maybe I can start with a question. Some of the bad memories I've had from my experience changing a component after there's been localization used on, when I like to think of them as overrides. Each locale is overriding the base site. So once you have used a component on a locale and you've localized that content and then you change it on the base site, have you had issues with that, and how do you get around it?
Yes. So it's important to understand how the localization works, to test some things, break them, maybe make a duplicate of the websites, test how if you change the default value of a property settings in a component will affect that. So it's important to understand that. And yeah, when you're doing some changes in one place, you might not see them coming, where those changes, what they would break. So it's important to know how the system, how basically localization works. But yeah, they have done better with localization, with components, and made it much clearer when it's localized, so you can know.
Yeah. Do you have difficulty explaining to clients how it works and the different scenarios, editing a component on a page versus in a collection, and these different scenarios? Has that been a challenge, or do you have like a simple way of helping clients understand?
Yeah, so what I do is set rail guards for clients so they don't go, for example, into components and mess up the structure or change things around. And I give them examples and how they can edit and create pages, and to use the components really, because that's the easiest way for clients to understand that there is a page. And I like to think of it like Lego blocks. You can build with Lego pieces a whole set, and I like to explain it to clients like this. You have these Lego pieces. You can customize these Lego pieces, for example, change the text, change the image, and you can build a whole section like this, a whole page like this. And I explain to them how localization works, so when they go into a different locale, and explain to them how the CMS works. And basically that's it, because if we go any deeper into the properties, how they can edit the default values or something like this, it becomes pretty complex and clients can break that. So I like to keep it at a component level and CMS level, so they don't mess up the structure and they don't go into the technical stuff, so they understand it. Like the kids, they understand how to stack the Lego, but they don't understand how the Legos are made.
So limiting the access to build mode.
Yeah,
effectively. Yeah. Do you have some more questions? Two over here. Ladies first. Alyssa?
Thank you so much. I haven't tried it yet, so I'm curious to hear what your answer is. You know the new conditional visibility feature. How does that play with localization? So can you use it, or are they separate?
Yeah, it's really nice to use it. I will give an example here. 1 second. Yeah. So here is the website, actually. And for example, we can see here this is the Italian locale. So this is in Italian. We can see here that we have some tags. And what we can do is with the conditions that there are. So here are all of the locales. And here are the international locales. So it's not for every country. These are the international locale. So it's one locale for all of these and 25 locales for all of these. So if you go into the UK locale, right here, or let's go into the UK locale. Yeah, if we go right here, we're going to see that the tags here changed. And if we go into the United States locale, we can see that they will change there as well because they need to display different things. And the new feature there, it's pretty nice to use it because you can set up in what conditions to show up. So you choose a locale and you choose, is it US, is it UK? So it's pretty nice to use. Yeah.
Cool. No, thank you very much. That's very interesting. My question to you is actually more about the client and like why, because you mentioned originally that a lot of clients will do like German and then English for like the rest of the world. What was their like justification for needing 25? Like, I'm interested to know why they thought they really needed all 25 of those.
They target in different countries and they do marketing in different countries, and that's why. Not all of the locales are translated into that language, but for example, there are different offers, different call to actions for the different locales. For example, they have a Japan locale where we have the pricing in yens, Japanese yens, and the idea is that they just want to market there and test out the market as they are a global company. And they're in the crypto space, and that's why. It's a lot whole global, and I think it makes them look more professional and stand out from the competitors.
We might have a question in the back, but just quickly, if there's anyone on the live stream that has a question, now's your chance to get in there. But question from over here.
Yes, hi. I'm not from the technical field. So for me, this is really interesting what I'm saying today. So I happen to be on the other side of the business. That means the creator and the commercial and the strategy side. So it's very important for people like me while we're creating our product and interacting with experts like you all sit in here. Do they understand the consumer and the culture very, very deeply? Now, my question is, when you're localizing, and there are lots of cultures, for example, Arabic culture, or Indian culture, where the UI UX is completely different. It doesn't go from right to left, it goes from left to right. And based on that, as a marketing lead or a business lead, I would also want to know what happens then. Is the focus going to be on the left side, and how much can you really customize on the localization part of it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
I'm just going to apologise quickly. It's 8 p.m, which means the music comes on to tell us to leave. But hopefully, it's fine. Hopefully, Stefan, you've got that question and you can do a quick answer.
Basically, the idea is that when you're doing a localization at that level, for most companies, they need to understand the market there and the culture there. But in their case, it's like they do tax for cryptocurrency. And the idea is that we have some tax guidelines here in the UK, and we have others in Germany, different ones in the United States, and that's where localization comes in. In many different cases, it will be different experts. For example, if there is a makeup company and they're doing marketing in, let's say, France, there are some cultural things there that they'll need to change in their messaging that will help out. But here is more straightforward because there are tax guidelines that need to change per locale.
Skip to the last slide. Thank you very much, Stefan. That's a wrap for this month. We'll be back. It's about the last Wednesday of the month, and scan out this QR code to join our WhatsApp group. This is the pub we're going to across the road. If you're up for it, then please join us. We've got one more giveaway, which is to thank Stefan for his presentation. However, you mentioned earlier you've already got one.
Actually, I got one of these.
Yeah. So do you want to award it to your favourite question?
Yeah.
Well, the one at the back just now was very good.
Yeah, this one was the best.
Yeah. Excellent. But if and I'd also like to quickly thank everyone that helps out with this. Patrick on the video, Rowan and Anthony on security, and everyone for coming along. So and our presenters. So thank you very much, everyone.
Webflow.